Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Conspiracy Castle. I am your conspiracy asshole. Primetime 99 Alex Stein, and we are on the grind. It's almost time to shine. Let's go, baby. Get your mind right. We're about to do the damn thing. We got a great guest, Bootsy. We got my man Bootsy Greenwood. We're going to freaking throw it down. That's what I'm talking about. Get your mind right. Are you guys ready? Because I'm ready to do the damn thing. And with that, I just want to bring the man on. And just, I want to bring him on with all that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome Bootsy. Bootsy, welcome to the Conspiracy Castle. Bootsy, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Alex. How are you, my friend?
I know, we're listening to that hardcore techno. It's a different song every week, I change it a lot. I'm kind of in a techno mood. I need to get on my freaking grind, Bootsy. I'm trying to freaking get beyond reality, because like you were saying, I was listening to, some of your stuff. We create our own reality, and I think everything you're saying was really spot on, really, the manifestation, and I really want to get into that. So, Bootsy, thank you for being on the show, and for the people at home that might not know you, tell the people what they need to know about you, Bootsy, just to get started.
I mean, dude, I'm just here trying to help people understand how reality works. Like, I call myself a blue-collar mystic. There's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there, who are trying to take your dollar and tell you that, they know how to manifest all this stuff, and you can bring a specific person into your life and use them as a puppet. They're solipsists and stuff. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. You believe whatever you want to believe. I don't give a fuck. But if you really are curious about why you're here, what this is, how to understand it, there's a lot of different models out there that can help us to really get a grasp on reality, right? Like, it's our number one need to know that we're right about what's going on, right? Like, if you eat a rock, you're not going to be full. You're not going to be, you're not going to get your vitamins and minerals or teeth, right? So you want to make sure that you know what's going on with reality. And so we make models in order to do that. And so that is really a big part of my work. I've studied a lot of different self-help books and spirituality and conspiracy and all this stuff, and just kind of synthesized it all together. I like to present it with a sense of humor and make it as simple as I possibly can. So, dude, I'm just happy to be here hanging out with you, Alex. I love your show. I love what you got going on. So thanks for having me, bro.
Wow, you're being too nice. Okay, but let me tell you this, Bootsy, let's be real, okay? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's like that's the last one is self-actualization. Have you met a person, and because I've looked into a lot of self-help stuff, I studied, I minored in sociology, like that means jack squat, jack shit, but you know what I mean? I'm just saying, I've looked into a little bit of this stuff, and I the only person I've ever encountered that actually has reached self-actualization is one of the biggest douchebags ever, a guy named Mark Cuban, who said that if he died, he would want to come back as himself. And I figured that's kind of self-actualization, saying, if you could come back as anybody, because I'd come back as like Michael Jordan or something. I don't know who I'd come back as, but I wouldn't. I love Alex Stein. I don't know if I'd come back. I'd want to do this maybe in a different pair of skin, and maybe a different color, maybe a different sex. I might like to have tits. But with all that, I'm just saying, in your line of work or in your mysticism, have you met somebody that in person? Because I don't know Mark Cuban in person. You know what I mean? Have you met anybody that you think is really self-actualized, in your opinion?
I don't think so. No, I mean, but I think that's the path. That's the journey. It's not about getting to something. You hear it all the time. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. But once you lock into really, I think, what your purpose is and who you really are at a deep, deep level, then everything just becomes, part of that obstacle course, right? It's kind of this fun game at that point, because you do have at least a sense of who you are. Maybe you're not self-actualized or neurotic or whatever Mark Cuban is, if he wants to reincarnate as himself. I find like,
dude, but I love that word neurotic, because I have so many neuroses. We all have neuroses. We got to get into neuroticism, but sorry to cut you off. I just love that word, and I hate that word at the same time. But go ahead.
But as far as that goes, man, I think it'd be incredibly arrogant to call yourself self-actualized, enlightened, or any of that. But there's a lot of hypocrisy that goes along with that too. It's like there's so many people who teach from this like place of like elevated place, and I really don't. Everyone is their own guru. There's no fucking gurus, right?
Exactly. That's what I like. Everybody's their own guru, and you can only give somebody the path. Like, even you mess up. I mean, you're not perfect. That's what I like. Listen, that's what I'm saying. That's what I love, that you're honest, because all these people that are gurus, that are like the Jonestown guy or whatever. Or I'm just saying, you honestly, these people, they create a like this religious what do they call prophet? A lot of these people become like a prophet, and I think that they use religion. That's one of the main ways they use religion to manipulate people because they become fake prophets. So I think that fakes. You're right. That self-actualization is actually dangerous. That was a really good thought, Bootsy.
Well, man, I passed the test. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, well, you're smarter than me. My cat's going crazy. Skybear, shut the fuck up! God damn it, he's pissing me off. He's going crazy. We're trying to get really deep. I'm trying to get self-actualized, but I can't when I have a 14-pound cat that ruins my life. I have toxoplasmosis, Bootsy. That's from dealing with a cat's fecal matter. It's also known as a crazy cat lady syndrome, and it's a parasite in their poop and their pee that, for me, always cleaning their litter box, it's infected my brain. And it gets to the fact that I might be a cat, because I'll be honest, sometimes I'll be kissing the cat and I'll give his fur a little lick. I don't know why. It's like it's very fucked up. I have a bunch of emotional issues. That's why we're here. Maybe you can help me. But I'm becoming a cat, not a human.
Maybe you should stop huffing Jankum. I don't know.
Is that the Jankum? That's the poop. That's Jankum's the poop. People don't know. Okay, listen. See, Bootsy, you're a hip. Guys, there is a drug, and I believe they do it in the Philippines. Where do they do Jankum? Where's Jankum popular? Do you know?
No, I'm sorry. Say that again.
Do you know where Jankum's popular? It's popular in some place like India or somewhere. Ooh, you don't know.
I felt like like in the sticks, like out in the boonies, like where I grew up.
And what people do is they put poop in a bag and it ferments, and then they smell it and they get high from it, guys.
Yeah, I thought it was poop and pee, and I was pretty sure it was mason jars. But if that's incorrect, then I hope I'm wrong, actually.
I'm trying to do some Jankum, dude. I'm looking for a Jankum dealer, dude. If anybody knows... Dude, I'm trying to try it all. I'm trying to $99, and I don't drink. I don't pop pills. I don't even like drugs. But a little bit of Jankum never hurt nobody. That's what they say at the Jankum clinic, at the Jankum's Anonymous.
At least it's natural. You know what I mean? You're not putting chemicals in your body, right?
Okay, well, let's get into that. To be honest, I quit, and I'm not anti-alcohol. Just for me, it was, I stopped drinking alcohol. My life improved a lot. I still like to puff the devil's lettuce. I still like to, I'm not afraid to try a mushroom here. I'm not afraid to do a little bit. I don't want to be considered sober. But what do you think about marijuana, and does that help you get, I don't know, more mystic, to dial into your pineal gland, or is that kind of just a, stoner's mentality?
I got to give a lot of credit to potheads, man. Like, they are incredibly inventive. They've created some of the most ingenious contraptions that exist. So maybe it does up your creativity, but I think to each his own. One of the reasons why I like Robert Anton Wilson so much is because he was like a big advocate of just like consciousness change, trying different things. And it's up to you, though. Like, you got to do what works for you, and whatever you're comfortable with, it's to each their own, really. It's an individual kind of thing. I personally got a little bit crutchy on the devil's lettuce, so I had to.
Did you stop? Okay, so you clean. Yeah, because it can get like that. You can smoke too much, and it can get like that. It definitely can become a crutch, because that happens to me, and I have to take a little break. And so I don't think anybody should do any narcotics, anything. That's really what I would recommend somebody that's like life is out of control. But I stopped everything. I was like almost 300 pounds. This is now over 3 years ago. And I really changed my life. I'm saying I lost a bunch of weight, and I stopped drinking. Dude. I stopped drinking alcohol, and I stopped smoking weed because one of my good friends died of a drug overdose, and it kind of fucked me up. And so I never started drinking again, but I picked up the weed, and I don't mess with any drugs. So I'm telling you, when I was totally sober for that, I was on fire. I want to go back to that. That's why you talk about a crutch. Marijuana is a crutch, because I'm telling you, even though I don't drink alcohol, I don't do any drugs. I mean, I don't consider marijuana drugs. I think it has anti-cancer benefit. But what I'm saying is, I don't do anything other than that, and I'm still not as good as I was when I wasn't doing it. Fact. So it definitely brings you down, and it's a depressant. And anybody that's thinking about experimenting with it, you better be careful, because it is a slippery slope where you can get very crutchy, is a good description.
I feel like anything, like most everything is kind of an addiction, and everything really is kind of crutchy. And one of the things that I talk about that I learned from this mystical Russian book is an idea called pendulums, that ideas and addictions and habits, and even in Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, he talks about the law of hypnotic rhythm. And so once you start to incorporate something, it's easier and easier and easier to do that, right? And so you create this sort of like, it's a subconscious loop that kind of builds and snowballs, right? And that habit begins to take on a life of its own. And within about, I think this official science is 63 days, you can turn, one thing into a habit.
Well, that's what I did. I was so depressed. God, Sky Bear, shut up. I was so depressed. I'm about to grab him. I was so depressed about my friend dying that I want to get off drugs, but I got addicted to exercise and dieting and watching video. I got totally addicted to it. I mean, literally, I was like, every time, instead of like looking at like conspiracy or sports or whatever, I was literally like, Eric Berg or whatever, whatever YouTube specialist on diet. I was really addicted to it. So it takes 63 days for for us to get really addicted to something. Is that, or is it to create
to build a habit?
habit?
And I would say that a habit is really synonymous with addiction, right? Like there's really not that much difference. Like you're saying, you got addicted to going to the gym. Everything that we do, adorable cat, by the way.
This is the quiet one. This is the good one. That's Sky Bear. I don't want to talk about how many cats. You're going to see a bunch on the thing. It's embarrassing. Keep going. They're my crutch. I had toxoplasmosis. This one's a good cat. See, I have full cat control. Not a lot of people can control a cat like this. I'm a toxoplasmosis. When you have it, the cat knows. The cat, like Kyle knows, and he knows I'm a cat too. So see how he grabs my face? See? He knows I'm a cat, so he knows I'm mildly autistic because I'm now a cat. So he's really nice to me, even though I'm not self-diagnosed. Okay, go 63 days habit pendulum. I like the pendulum thing. That was really interesting. Explain, please elaborate.
Yeah, sure. So the idea, I think, is that everything in reality has an energetic equivalent. And so however we push that, and I've got one of these little pendulums here, like one of these, like you can get at the gym shop or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like the idea is that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So if we focus on something and we get, like, say, angry at it or give it a bunch of attention, then we're actually pushing that pendulum and it swings harder and harder and harder and harder. And then when we're at the whim or mercy of it, we're like riding on it, like this habit, whatever it is, it's subconscious, it's on autopilot. So in order to like change that, you got to become aware and get like higher and higher, get some more perspective on it. And then it affects you less and less as you elevate your perspective over it. You know what I'm saying? So
wow, it affects you because you swing less the farther you are away, because that makes sense. That's why they want to keep us in fight or flight, I believe, because when you are in that fight or flight, you're in that reactionary stage. So it's when you have that your perception is and you're farther away from it, you're less affected by, I guess, it physically affects you less, theoretically, right?
It does. Yeah. I think that provocation, right? And the way we react, not respond, but react. That's the thing that these like energetic forms, they're feeding off of. They're like, oh, I want to push your button. And then you get that reaction and that goes to the pendulum. Think about a sports team, right? Like Texas, right? That's where you're at. I'm in Georgia. So football, right? Yeah. So you go to football.
I like the Cowboys. They suck, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well,
yeah,
fuck the Cowboys. But
yeah. Fuck the Cowboys. I'm sick of the Cowboys. Go ahead.
Wherever you go, you've got, this team and then the visiting team, right? The home team, and the home team comes out, everybody, yay, right? Like, and they come out, they get all this energy, right? They're hyped.
Yeah.
Then the other team comes out, they run out and boo, everybody boos, but they're hyped too. So what's up with that, right? Like if that team ran out and everybody just shut up, real quiet, there would be no energy for that pendulum. And so there's the pendulum that is sucking up and harvesting all that energy from the crowd, right? And so the idea is that if we shift our energy, like us conspiracy castle dwellers, to things that are solutions that can help us as a community, as individuals, then those things will get that energy and that momentum now, as opposed to the things that are provoking us and keeping us in fight or flight and keeping us fearful, right? And controlled.
Wow. I mean, that is really, we're already dropping the pendulum stuff. I feel like a new man. Like, I feel like every time I'm in a triggered situation, because that's the thing is we're in a society now where everybody gets so triggered out of everything. People want to get triggered. They're addicted to the cortisol dump. And this is like, there's a thing going around where this comic, Tony Hinchcliffe, like said, like a bunch of Chinese slurs and he got canceled. But what I'm talking about is the cancel culture is the people don't realize that they love they love canceling someone. People get so much joy out of the actual canceling someone. So what is that like trying to make the pendulum swing for somebody? I mean, why do people get a joy out of getting like all the Chinese people? I'm not going anti-Chinese. I'm just saying, why do the people, and not even just Chinese people, everybody that was mad, they're white people, there's all different races, but I'm just saying, why are they so happy to be like, F this guy, he should die? Because isn't that worse than what he said? He didn't say anybody should die theoretically, and now that he said something, I'll admit, racist, But for you to say I want him to die, isn't that almost worse than than
I
what he
think
said?
I think it's it's bad, right? And
Yeah.
I think that the thing that's happening here is that we are having a relationship with this thing, and it might be a habit. It might be a sports team or an idea or an addiction or whatever. Like really, anything in reality has that energetic equivalent to it. So whatever that is, we're tied to it. And we're kind of giving our identity over to this thing, this idea, right? Like say you're a stoner, for instance, right? A
Hmm.
pothead.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But like all of a sudden you've got Bob Marley posters all over your place. You wear one of those fucking knitted hats. You look like a dweeb. You stink. You don't wear, deodorant. And this becomes this stereotype, this generalized sort of stereotype that a stoner has, right? But it could be any idea or any identity, and you're giving away your true, authentic identity for this idea that's sort of shiny, this pendulum. And so, like, as you sort of submit to this, right? Like, it's not a Mormon's idea to wear like a shirt like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's part of that whole thing. And then once you kind of conform to that group mind, now all of a sudden you're acting on its behalf, and you've kind of created this subconscious connection to it, right? And so whatever that is, it could be anything, but that's kind of
Well,
the
it's our social media, it's our email, it's our computers. Like that's the hive mind that we have to fit in with BLM, or we have to fit in with the political correctness. But I think you said a point that I want to talk about, or you kind of, I don't know if you said it, but owning it, like, if you kind of can own your life, then you can kind of find out, your path more. Is when you try to fit in with everybody, you're not really being yourself. So how do you help people become the more authentic version of themselves?
Well, number one, the thing we got to watch out for are three things: guilt, duty, and obligation. Those are the three things that, generally speaking, are going to pull you off your path. Somehow you're going to be manipulated into serving one of these ideas that doesn't serve you. I mean, these things, like these ideas of pendulums, they're not like completely avoidable, right? Like this is probably how a school of fish operates, or other things in nature, like an ant colony. Like there are these things, they're not avoidable. We have to figure out just kind of how to manage them. But as far as it goes, whenever we're being manipulated, it generally comes down to those three emotions: guilt, duty, or obligation. And if we're being trapped into doing something, or tricked, or have an ultimatum, then we're not acting out of our own will. We're not coming from like a place of love, like just straight up. And we're coming from this place where we're like, well, I've got to do this, or I've got to do that, or this makes me a good citizen, this makes me a good member of society. Now we've completely sold ourselves out. We're not being our most authentic self. We're not being honest with what we truly want, who we are. And so we're going after this other thing, and it might be really shiny too. It might seem like something that we want, even though it's really a false sort of goal.
Well, I was reading it's a self-help book from the 30s. It was actually Dale Carnegie. It was a public speaking book, and he said one of like the main focuses is, and I think they boiled it down, if I'm correct. And this is the kind of, I know he's revised this thought. This is one of his older books, but literally one of the two main drives for people is like, personal like acknowledgement, or appreciation for their success, like like having a job and being acknowledged for it, and sex. Like that's it. People just want to be appreciated. Literally, like, they just want to be appreciated for what they do. It's not even that they necessarily need fame. It's just they want, if they do it, they want to be recognized and known. They want to be recognized for your hard work. And the other thing that motivates you is like sex. So it's like basically comes down to like character and non-character. I don't know. I mean, it gets deep, eh? But what do you think about that? Like, I think not just sex, but I guess our Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What's the most important need to help this society? We're an idiocracy, I believe, right now. We're all idiots. How could we help each other? And what do you think? I know you don't have the magic answer, but I think it starts within ourselves. So what is kind of your advice? Self
Yeah,
actualization, or what's the best
sure.
need to start with?
Of course, yeah. I think everyone is really they're looking for a sense of self-worth. That's ultimately what it all boils down to. And that includes sex, for the record, right? Like, I mean, if you're not getting any attention when you're crossing the street, then maybe you don't feel like you have that self-worth, right? So really, ultimately, it comes down to that. So understanding that that's what everyone wants too. So it's really not about you in other people's minds. They're concerned about themselves and their own self-worth. So it ultimately comes down to looking really within you And I think it has a lot to do with purpose, which really I think is the catalyst for intention. And curiosity, passion, those are the types of things that lead to purpose. And that's something that I like to work with people on, is like really kind of understanding from a model perspective, like, what is your purpose? Like, and having that sort of defining statement that kind of grounds you to who you are, right? Like as a tether to the universe or to God or whatever you want to call it, right? It doesn't have to be spiritual. It doesn't have to be God, the big God idea. But it can just be, your identity, who you are, who you feel like you are. And I believe that if you can get an idea of what that is, it doesn't matter if you self-actualize, but at least you have some self-worth. You have an understanding that you do matter, that you are this like incredibly brilliant, energetic signature, this one blueprint that nobody else is. Alex, you're so unique. You know what I mean? Like, and you're very much yourself. And so everyone else out there, I believe, has a role. I consider.
Well, let me cut you off because I want to say this, guys. Listen, I worked for Cheaters, and the reason why I started doing my show is I didn't get this guy. The host died, Clark Gable, who's a friend of mine, and then a year later they were going to make me the host, and they chose somebody else, and then I created my own show. But what I'm saying is nothing gave me more purpose, Bootsy, than creating my own show, than trying it. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I just started talking. I just figured it out, and I'm not saying everybody's meant to just start a YouTube show or start a podcast like you or like me, but everybody should. If you're interested, you might as well try it because you never know if you'd be good or not. But what I'm saying is I know that I'm meant to at least be an entertainer or broadcaster, or, and I knew that from the start. But what I'm saying is now that I actually found my purpose, that I could do it on my own and I didn't need a gatekeeper, and I feel like a fish in water. And I know I'm going to be censored. I know like my life is going to be tough or whatever because I speak about, bad stuff, but I know I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be the king of all conspiracy because I have purpose, because I love doing this stuff. It's not hard because I love it, because I have a passion for it. I like, even though the audio is kind of messy, I like looking at the microphone. I like jacking with it. I like all the crap that I didn't even know that I liked because I didn't have my purpose. And so when I found that purpose, guys, when you find your purpose, and I'm not self-actualized at all, I'm just saying once you find your purpose, something that like it fits like a glove, and it fit like a glove for me, and I can't tell you how much my passion in my life has improved. It's not even that my life is better. It's just you go through life not knowing what your purpose is, not even having a direction. Like you just kind of want to stay out of trouble, for lack of a better word, or not get your heart broken by a girl. But once you actually find your purpose, man, Bootsy, and that's what you help people do, is kind of find their purpose, basically.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the beginning, right? And then implementing it is the other part too. The big distinction that I like to make is, your purpose is not your role in society, right? Like you have purpose, you're driven. You're driven, if I were working with you, I would say like, it would be probably a good next step to just kind of get like a statement of what it is that you do that's not necessarily right. Like your purpose is what's making you make an awesome set and make, even me look good on the screen. You got the counter and the spinner and all this shit. It looks awesome. And that is that driving motivation that's coming from your purpose. And if we were in another society and there weren't any computers, your role might be different, but your purpose might be the same, if that makes sense, right? Like
Yes.
You're getting the word out, you have a message, you want to entertain people, you want to bring something to them. That's, for me, the first layer of my purpose. And I do believe there are concentric circles. David Data talks about that in The Way of the Superior Man, which doesn't matter what gender you are, you should read that book. It's fantastic. Talks a lot about purpose.
Say the book again. Say the name of the book for the people who said it fast.
The Way of the Superior Man.
The Way of the Superior Man, and it's good for males and females, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's good for the whole family. Everybody.
I'm addicted to Audible. Maybe I'll get it on Audible. I know that's not the same way. Then you buy the book, but I've been listening to a lot of books on tapes lately because there's not that much good content. I'm not saying that I'm some good content creator. I'm just saying there's not much good stuff to watch on the internet or anywhere, in my opinion. Everything kind of stinks nowadays.
It's all getting censored, man. I mean, yeah. And you got to go to the other spots. I'm glad you're still here. I'm still here because I usually don't talk about anything controversial,
Well, I do, and I have to delete the stream and put it on Patreon, and whenever we talk about something bad, or then I take it down and then bleep the words. No, it's a pain in the ass. Yeah. Now we're on Rokfin. We're on a bunch of different stuff, but no, I mean, yeah, I mean, look at it be here, but what a pain, all the stuff that we have to go through just to be able to speak. Supposedly have free speech, or we don't have free speech anymore.
No, it's ridiculous, dude.
It's terrible. But what were we just talking about, though?
I I think I was sharing that like I view the whole purpose thing. Like so I was saying for you, you like to entertain, to maybe to bring a community. There's a statement I think that exists for you that you can be like, boom, that's what I'm here.
Even in a different setting, I would have still figured that out. My purpose, and
Yeah.
I would have, because I like talking. I would have figured out something. But okay, so let's talk about manifesting and our reality, because this is why this is serious. I always talk about, like, I always this happens with everybody. I mean, I'm just speaking my truth. You ever like think about something bad happening and you're like, shit, I gotta stop thinking about this, because if I think about it too much, I might manifest it to happen. Does that ever happen?
I mean, I think there is such a thing as self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, absolutely. So the thing to think about in the manifestation world, which I mean, I shouldn't hate it, but I kind of hate that word. It's accurate, but it's overused. It's like the Hotel California of the New Age movement. Everybody says manifest. We're gonna manifest a parking spot. Come on, guys, everybody. It's real easy to manifest a new Louis Vuitton purse with your American Express Black card. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah, consider the
That's
mess.
That's woo woo. That's kind of fake self help, in your opinion. The manifesting, because you don't just but there is something to, like, I guess, like you said, I guess you can use the word manifest can have different descriptions, because like just having positive thinking can manifest positive. You know what I mean? Like in that sense.
Yeah, I just think it's oversimplified a lot of the time.
Oversimplified. That's what it is. It's oversimplified. Because okay, so I shouldn't worry too much when I'm like, I'll see like a car accident. And I'm always like thinking about then you ever get Bootsy? What about when you think about your death? You ever start thinking about your death? About
I
the
think
day
about
you
my
die?
death every day, bro. That is the first
Every
thing I start with.
every day. Well, how sick is that? And I think about like, oh, it's not gonna be painful. And then I'm like, well, if it is painful, I won't feel it when I'm dead, even if I'm in I don't know. Why do we think about it? So what is that? I did mushrooms about at the beginning of the quarantine. It's now about 13 months, and I've done them sporadically my whole life. I had a bad trip the last time I did them. I guess it was Corona or something. I couldn't stop thinking about my death, dude. I've never had a bad trip. So what is that? Why are we shouldn't be afraid. How do we handle that, Bootsy, thinking about our death?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm with you, dude. Like, I don't. That's a tough one to answer because,
Yeah.
like, I'm not afraid of death. I'm not, but like pain, no, I'm not. I don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, so
Well, and this is what I think about. We'll get off the death thing too. It's like, Paul Mooney dies, all these celebrities dies, and then in my mind I'm like, shit, just more. And then one of my girlfriends from high school, her mom passed away recently, and that just, I wasn't close to the girl anymore, but that mom, I was at the high school. She was with me through my whole high school. It's just weird. What I'm saying is, the older you get, the more people die. And my dad, I mean, and no, I remember my dad. I'm not even trying to be funny. I know it's funny, but I remember my dad saying this like 20 years ago, not 20 years ago when I was in high school, like 10 or 15 years ago, being like, yeah, I only wear suits to funerals now. And I'm like a dumb kid. I'm like, oh, shut up, dad, going to funerals. And, he's like being emotional. I'm just indifferent, young kid. Now I like think about that statement, and it hits really hard. And I've been to a couple of funerals. I'm like, holy shit, am I going to, you know what I mean? It always, so I'm happy somebody else thinks about their death. So maybe I'm not manifesting by thinking about it all the time. Not all the time, but it comes up a little bit.
Yeah, no, it does. So to the point of like manifesting, there's just a couple nuanced things there. I do think it's often oversimplified, and I'm not trying to throw people under the bus here. That's not really my aim, but I'm just trying to get a more workable idea or model of how this manifestation thing works, right? And we'll go with that term. I'm not
No,
trying to
fuck
hate.
manifestation. No, you talk about your model, Bootsy. This is you use your vocabulary, because
Yeah.
guys, everybody, I really want everybody to look into BootsyGreenwood.com, and the link is in the description. I really want you guys to go there, because Bootsy has a lot of podcasts. You got nearly 100 episodes, all of this type of stuff, right, Bootsy? Just stuff that can help people. It's not all self-help, but it just helps you, I guess, kind of realize what's going on in the world. So that's why I really appreciate you, Bootsy, because you're doing this because for the love of the game. You have a purpose. You know what I mean? You know that you're actually helping people. But go ahead. I always cut you off. Sorry.
Oh, no, dude, you're fine. So, kind of the way to think about it is, it's like, just because you think of something doesn't make it magically happen. That's kind of the way that people think about this. You watch a movie like The Secret, And it's like, oh, well, if you just imagine a check coming in the mail, then a check will come in the mail magically, right? Like, I think Dave Chappelle has a bit where he's like talking about how, if you went over to Africa and just told a lady, that she wasn't thinking positive enough, that's why she didn't have anything to eat. You know what I mean? Like, that's savage, bro. And that is obviously, we see a huge discrepancy there. But a big part of it has to do with emotion, right? Like, the universe speaks a certain language. Another book I'll recommend everybody is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It's a really popular, well-known book. It was a big-time bestseller many years ago. But he talks
The
about
Alchemist. Yeah, that's
Alchemist.
that's one of the most famous books ever. But
It's such a great book. Yeah. I recently reread it. But he talks about the language of the universe. And so we are two parts, heart and mind. And the reason why we often get the thing that we don't want is because our heart and mind completely agree on what we don't want. That fear, the more we think about it, the more we're actually bringing that into our world, right? Into our awareness. We're seeing it more. Our reticular activation system is picking up on it, and we're beginning to create that self-fulfilling prophecy. The same thing is possible in the positive way through intention or choosing. I would say that choosing is a better word than manifesting, but the power of choice is something that we really need to begin to understand. Free will and the power of choice is there's so much more power than we're led to believe when it comes to free will. And that doesn't mean that you're making other people do things. It doesn't mean that, but it's really about choosing consciously where your attention is. So where attention goes, energy flows. And whatever it is that we're trying to bring into our reality, especially if we're coming from a place of purpose, what we want to use is intention to get there. And so when our heart and mind agree, intention's created. And at that point, we can really do some amazing things, right? Like one example I like is, imagine that you're at a party and you had too much to drink and you really got to go to the bathroom. So you start going to the bathroom and people just they just part like the Red Sea out of your way. They can feel your intention coming off, and I'm sure there's some people out there who have experimented with like ecstasy, maybe, who have had a sort of magical night where they were like, how did I do that? Right. And so like the heart and mind, when they are in agreement, amazing things can happen. So connecting to that purpose, which is in your heart, and then using your mind to navigate the world and not be specifically like completely hung up on the linear process of this is going to happen and then this is going to happen, because any goal you've ever accomplished, it didn't go the way you thought it was. So, or you thought it would. So with intention, you can begin to move toward that goal, and then it also will move toward you. And when you're being your most authentic, when you're on purpose, then the world starts to do things for you. And fortune favors the bold, which is why I think you're having so much success. You're putting yourself out there. You're on your path. You got intention lighting the way, and that makes you more motivated to do the things that you do, little nice touches of the live stream and all that kind of stuff. So those things start to work out to your advantage. And then you also have that deep sense of purpose. So when things do get challenging, you just keep going forward anyway, right? Like if it was not meant for you, you would just want to give up and retreat. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and this is another thing is for sure, but this is another thing is we are electromagnetic beings. It's like I feel like we feed off either there's energy, like you were saying, intention. We can almost tell somebody's intention kind of through body language. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that we give off? What I'm saying is I believe the people that are in power, that control us, they literally feed from our loosh, from our bad energy. They want us in a low vibrational state, because when we're in a low vibrational state, they can, control us. So it's like, how does intention and high vibrational state, like how does vibrations, for the people at home, we sound so woo woo, I can't believe I'm talking like this, but I mean, seriously, I want to get better control of it, like, because I catch myself being low vibrational. And is that the right term? Like, how does intentions and electromagnetic energy, and how does that, like, the reason why I asked that question, you said you can kind of tell when somebody's about to pee before they pee at a party, just by their body language, just by their energy.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I'm saying. You can tell when somebody's going to puke in a cab 30 minutes before something. You know what I mean? You can just kind of tell this intuition, like you're talking about a night on ecstasy. You're just on fire. You hit on the right girl and you kiss the right, you can just feel it. Normally you might be timid. You might be like, I don't know, the girl likes you. When you're, you can feel the body language. Sometimes you can dial into that. So how do we dial in and become, high vibrational beings? And what is your thoughts on vibrations?
Yeah, I think vibration is something that's very real. I think that the way to sort of dial in to sort of higher vibrations is to really just pay attention, to be the observer and to experience at the same time, and put yourself at the cause of the situation as much as you possibly can. So what happened to me when I first started looking into conspiracies, right? I was in the conspiracy dungeon, I was in my dad's basement. I hated everything. I hated everybody. I isolated myself. I felt terrible. I was
Wait, real
depressed.
quick. You felt clear, but you were actually in the basement of the house. Like that's
Oh
what
yeah,
everybody.
literally.
I mean, I was in my bedroom with the curtains drawn. I remember when I was looking 9/11 and stuff. I wasn't in a basement. I was in my one bedroom apartment with all the curtains drawn. I mean, it might as well have been a basement. But okay, tell me about your awakening. Yeah, the conspiracy rabbit hole you were in.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of where I started out, and dude, I mean I was getting to a place where I was very unhealthy, and I was at the effect and not at the cause. So I was a victim because of all of this information that I had learned about how these people control and this and that and this, this false flag and all these things. And then I start reading all these other books. I'm reading 1984, I'm reading Brave New World, and I don't want to discourage anybody from researching. That's not the point. But keeping our energy and the way that we feel in our body, that's our birthright. It really is. So if we can put ourselves at the cause, no matter what is going on out here, and put ourselves in a good vibration, a good state, a good emotional state, then things are definitely going to go in a better favor for us. We're still going to endure challenges. There's still going to be hardships and things like that for sure. Life is crazy, but it will put us in a much, much better place to be less provoked by pendulums or other people's opinions or ideas. We can kind of stay grounded. We can keep our feet planted. And at
ten
that point,
bucks. Thank you for the
hey,
specific notes, bro. I can't believe it. $10. Okay, but yeah, keep our feet planted. Sorry, he's giving some donations and I haven't
hey,
shouted him out in a
appreciate it
while.
out
Yeah,
there.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we love it. He likes what you're saying. Both feet on the ground, 10 toes is what they say in the rap songs on the
Yeah,
ground.
I like that. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean that's the gist of it, man. We need to be able to put ourselves at the cause and focus our attention consciously, as opposed to just waking up. I would wake up and just be like, oh, I just got hit by a truck, back in those days. And so I had to crawl out of a very dark pit, at that point. And that's why I got so into self-help. That's why I got so into spirituality. And the first book that I ever really got into was Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And that one was sort of my Bible for like a year. And then I found a couple other ones and really started to implement things, as opposed to, like, one of the things that's kind of a problem is like too much information overload, right? It's real easy to just see something shiny, run over there, see something shiny, run over there, see something, and on and on. But really trying to implement whatever it is that resonates with you. If you can find a book or a type of practice, if that's meditation for you, if that's yoga for you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be any of those things. It's not about the thing. It's just about finding a way to put yourself at the cause of the situation so that you're not the victim. And so I read all these books and synthesized all this information to pull myself out of this dark abyss. And ultimately, like, the cornerstone, the foundation of it all really has to do with purpose, right? Like, I feel like a broken record, but that really is that connection that can really spur us. I believe each and every one of us is here for a specific purpose and for this crazy fucking time that we find ourselves in. Like, it's bananas, dude. Like, you can't make this shit up. Remember when you like ask your parents for advice and they'd be like, well, here's how it works. It's like, really? You're gonna tell me? Like, how many crazy, bananas, ridiculous, I want to go with even more flowery language, but I'll tap the brakes. You know what I'm saying? But have happened, and there's nobody that could have told you that. Like, your grandma, your dad, no fucking, you have no.
No, even the top conspiracy theorists in the world 15 months ago, nobody predicted this.
No.
Nobody. Well, I mean, I'll even give them, like, maybe somebody that said, like, oh, they've always been using Ebola and bird flu and stuff like. People have saw that, but nobody said we're gonna be in mass and lockdown. Everything they say, everything that happened, nobody predicted this. So we don't really know. But it's starting to affect me though a little bit. But I mean, it doesn't affect everybody. I mean, it affects you. Like, I'm saying, they're winning. The powers that be are winning because they're putting me in that low vibrational state.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's it's okay too to be a little bummed out, right? Like I don't beat yourself up for it. It's like, oh wow, we're in a tough spot, right?
Yeah.
Because we are, but there's all like nature always finds the path of least resistance. It will always flow around a rock. Think of water. If I go and put a rock in the middle of the river, well, the river's just going to rise and go around both sides. If I put another rock, same thing. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to continue on and on and on like that. So as a community, if we can build good ties, build good relationships with each other, small groups, over here, over there, then we can band together, come together, be autonomous, and then create, solutions, smaller and smaller solutions. We're always, I think, going to be kind of jumping from life raft to life raft. That's just the nature of the game, but we can do it, and so that's part of this journey. That's part of why we're here. It's a crazy time. Imagine you bought tickets for this. Like Bill Hicks said, it's a ride, man. Like
I love Bill Hicks. He's the best. Okay, but like you were saying with the autonomy, you're going with the Grimerica crew to Contact at the Cabin, and is that when we're not done? I just want to talk about that because the Contact at the Cabin, that's going out in nature. You're talking about the river and the rock. So tell us about Contact at the Cabin, what that is, and what you're doing there a little bit for the people.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited. I'm actually going to be talking with Darren and Joe Roop on July 6th. That's in a month or so. And we're going to be talking a little bit more publicly about it, but I'm super excited. Brandon Powell is going to be there. Joe
Where
Roop.
is it? Where is it? Where is it take place?
It's the petrified forest of in Arizona at the Grand Canyon. February, I'm going to mess the dates up, but I think it's like February 10th through the 13th or something like that. It's around the early part of February. And it's going to be like a retreat. Like those guys have been doing a lot of really cool retreats. And so there's this huge Airbnb that's beautiful up in the mountains there. And so we're going to be doing some like cold water stuff.
Is that what they do? They rent the whole Airbnb and everybody stays at the Airbnb? How many people stay there?
Yeah, it's a huge dude. The place is dope. Like I think it like sleeps like 40 people or something like that. But
wow.
I think they have like some camp spots and stuff like that as well. And it's gonna be wild. I'm honored to be able to.
So there's room if there's overage. You'll be able to put a tent there. Is what you're saying?
I mean, if you really, really, really want to come, just hit me up. I'll see what I can do for you.
You guys everybody needs to get a Contact at the Cabin. But why do they say Contact? Like, what do you think about UFOlogy and all that? Because I think that's a lot of distraction. I'm not saying there aren't some sort of extraterrestrial being that, that some lizard human. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know all the animals in the ocean. I don't know all the bugs on the ground. I mean, I don't know how there couldn't be some sort of interdimensional being that I don't know about. I mean, I think that I hold that possible, but what do you think about aliens and purpose and all that? Or is that...
Dude, I don't know, man. I mean, you could be a Pleiadian starseed or you could be like a Lemurian mermaid for all I know.
And I am Lemurian mermaid. I have that body. I have that kind of vibe, Lemurian mermaid vibe. That's always been... A lot of people have been saying that. Sadly, you're not the first person to say that. But that's not a compliment because we know that they're whores. We know that all those mermaids are whores. And that's that. So that's a personal insult. But okay, let's get back into dialing in though a little bit more because I like where the good energy and the self-help stuff and the visualization and the because guys, this is the thing is life is short and we gotta. You were talking about how you were in the rabbit hole and I've been in the rabbit hole, guys, and we're in this conspiracy stuff all the time. We're always freaking, that low vibrational state. We put ourselves in it because it literally we have a cortisol response. And we get a high from the cortisol is what they say. That's what they say, the scientific.
It's just a habit. It's an addiction, right? We're addicted to it, right?
Yes, but so what I'm saying is for all of you guys at home that are playing this like, oh my God, Bitcoin's crashing, the world's crashing, guys, it's not that if as bad as it gets, we make it. It's really not that bad. You're alive. You guys are breathing. You got two legs. There's somebody that's got a worse off situation than you. I guarantee it. So we have no gratitude. So what do you think about having gratitude, Bootsy?
I mean, you nailed it. You hit the nail on the head with that. Like it's so powerful, and it might sound trite or cheesy, but fuck you. That's the truth, like gratitude is so important. And on the Bitcoin thing, remember this, you know what I'm saying? Like, where are we at here with the Bitcoin thing?
Yeah, it's a pendulum. Exactly.
Oh my God. we're gonna be, like chill the fuck out. It's cool. And
Explain that better. No, do that again. So no, swing it so you guys know. It's like when you're real close to it, you're going to be having these waves. But when you can step away from it physically, you can explain it better than me. But
yeah, definitely, right? Like when we aim energy at things, we are pushing, and it swings back, right? Like these things operate like this in nature. So, this is from the Kabbalion, actually. The Kabbalion talks about this, and it talks about how as a master, you can put yourself up here higher and higher so that the effect doesn't affect you as much, right? Like, so we want to be at the cause. Like, this is the
that's
effect.
Kabbalah. People are going to get pissed. You said Kabbalah. There's some Christians in the chat are going to go, oh,
No,
Kabbalah.
the Kabbalion, and I'm not.
Is that not Jewish mysticism? Is that different than Jewish mysticism?
It's a different book. Yeah,
Okay.
it was written anonymously by some Masons. There goes the chat. Oh,
There, yeah, no. Hey, listen, guys, the illuminated ones, guys, we are trying to be not in the Illuminati, but we're trying to have the knowledge that they have, because they're hiding a lot of that knowledge of, like, well, what is our purpose in your opinion? I know you don't know, but I know you said everybody has a purpose. Like, what we're trying to find that. What is your idea of why we're here, and what's the goal? Is that too hardcore? What were you saying earlier?
No. So if I could reduce it, right? Like I would say we're here to learn how to love unconditionally. That's what we're here to do. And as a group, right? Like I could say that as sort of a generalized blanket statement, right? Like as for humanity. As far as your individual purpose, like that is something that you got to figure. Nobody can do that for you, right? Like we have tools. Sure, I can help you with that. Other people can help you with that. There's been books and books and books and books written about it, but nobody can do that for you. That's something that you have to do. And like I said, there are tools, there are exercises, there are ways to tease that out. So, that's totally feasible, but as far as like a general like purpose, it's to understand unconditional love. And so I think that's why we're being challenged as hard as we're being challenged with this. I mean, dude, people are at odds. Like magnets are sticking to people's arms. You know what I'm saying? Like shit's getting wild. You know what I mean? So it's pretty crazy. So
and this is just a start. It's gonna get even crazier. And it's okay. So tell me this, Bootsy. I see you're a comedian, public speaker, podcaster. Do you think you've gotten fun? I'm saying, even though it sounds crazy, even though the world's gotten worse, I've almost gotten more of a sense of humor from all this. So how do you draw from comedy in this time of whatever, self awakening and self? I don't want to what is it, aggrandizing, where we're like kissing each other's ass. I don't want to kiss your ass, Bootsy, because I know you're still on the path, but I just respect you for putting yourself out there, and you can go to your website, you can find your podcast. You're actually trying to help, dude. You're not trying to hurt people. That's what people don't get. And even if you just give them entertainment, that is enough help. That's how I feel like I help. I'm not going to give you guys any advice. I'm not a role model. Do the opposite of me. But if I can entertain you while we're in this crazy world that we don't know what's going to happen next, if I can kind of distract you for 5 minutes and make you have a good time, that's one of my purposes. So how have you been? Like, do you think you've gotten funnier since you've been awake? That's the real question. It's like, once you got awake, I'm sure you're a funny guy before you're awake to this stuff, so how did being awake change your sense of humor?
Yeah, that's man, that's hard to say. Like I think my sense of humor has always been the same, but perspective really helps. It's like the more we can make a joke about something or laugh about something, the less we're clearly affected by it, right? Like back to that provocation, right? Like getting that energy. Push your button. If I push your button, I get your energy, right? Like as an energy vampire does, or a narcissist, right? Or like a sociopath or a psychopath. That's what they do, right? They're just energy vampires. So, from that perspective, understanding that everything that happens is funny to somebody else. And so if we can, again, step ourselves up and have a little bit of perspective, we could maybe even see how what happened to us is kind of funny with enough perspective. And that helps us not be so attached. You know what I mean? Like we can actually just laugh about it. It's not something that
well, let me say this. The perspective is huge, because before I say the cliche thing is, if you put a 6 on the ground and I stand on one side, it's going to look like a 6, and you stand on the other, it's going to look like a 9. So that's why perspective is important. But it's right. Like, I look at videos at the beginning of this thing. I used to be like really anti-mask, and I used to like go and yell, not yell at people. Now I don't care because I've had perspective. I realize people are afraid and they want to wear the mask. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to help people, but that's not the way. You don't help somebody by yelling at them and getting in their face because it's a you provoke them you scare them off. You actually
Yep.
do the opposite because that's what happened with the guy I worked with. Two guys I work with, they know that don't like the thing that goes to people's arms. Well, they both of them at their church, the head of their church, are they going to listen? And they got it because their pastor said to do it. Are they going to listen to me or are they going to listen to their pastor? And if I probably would have been, and I'm not mad at them, I don't care. They can do whatever they want. I'm saying probably because I was provoking them and being so annoying about it. And then they hear somebody they respect, a pastor, like, well, who do I believe? The crazy Alex guy or the pastor of my church? And I'm not saying that I'm smarter than the pastor of a church, even though I am smarter than the pastor of their church. I'm just saying that you provoke somebody to do the wrong thing. That that's a big deal. And that perception is huge because if you can walk a mile in another man's shoes, you maybe can really sympathize with him and understand his plight.
Yeah, man, it's pretty wild out there. I don't think that being confrontational, I think it has its place. I'm not going to say that don't ever do it, but like I think for the most part, charging people up and polarizing them is only really creating more of a divide, and ultimately, like, we want to have an open forum. We want to have an open discussion and be able to talk about things without freaking the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever that is, if it's flat earth, or if it's, did we go to the moon, or if it's, putting something in your body or taking something out of your body, whatever that is, we can have a conversation about it. We don't have to freak out and start telling people that they can't be in our life anymore because they don't see things exactly the same way that we do. Right. So, it's really ultimately about that and coming from a place of love, understanding, and acceptance, because there's nothing you can do about it anyway. If they want to do whatever it is that they want to do, they're going to do it. They will find a way to do it. So why try to grasp onto that and try to influence or manipulate somebody else or push them if you don't have to? Speak your piece, say your case, and let it be what it is. Just let it go from there, right?
Yeah, and this brings up one of my favorite things. So, like, kind of woke one of my first conspiracies was Scientology, and one of the things with Scientology that blew my mind is I always hear these like horrible stories about how a guy like has a wife and 4 kids, and he just got disgruntled with Scientology and decided to quit. And the thing with Scientology, you have to shun the family. You have to actually shun them. Like, I didn't even know that's possible. And that's what we're talking about, the confrontational. I didn't ever think it's possible I could shun a family member. You know what I mean? And then you look at the Amish do it too. If they decide to, supposedly if they decide to go and be secular or whatever, they shun them because they're being normal. So that's the problem, guys. Is we're being divisive. Like we're kind of doing. I don't know. I just can't believe we do that when we disagree.
It's fucking hard. It's hard, man, because we're being pitted to divide, right? Like, we all know that meme, like, just tell the people with the torches that it's the people with the, pitchforks, and with their, because we're being pitted against each other. So I think it's really important to just be aware of that and try to take the higher ground. Dude, you're gonna make mistakes. It's okay. I'm not telling you how to live your life. You got to make your decisions for yourself. Like, that's not what I'm about. But, ultimately we are being pitted. So it's really, really hard right now, like literally in homes, husbands are getting it and their wife doesn't. And, kids are running off to be rebellious, to comply with the government. It's a crazy time. It's very divisive. It's very hard. And so we have to just all try to understand that, and as best we can, come from a higher ground. I've ruined a lot of Thanksgiving dinners, dude. When I was living in that conspiracy cave, right? I ruined a lot of Christmases. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
dude, I have too. I mean, I didn't get invited to Christmas this year because both my cousins, one's a vet. Well, that one's fine with that. I'm tight with her, but the one's a nurse. I'm still tight with Breck and Taylor, but I didn't. They were kind of mad at me because I was kind of being anti. I don't even want to say the word. We could get a medical strike, but you know what I mean. I'm just saying you can end up yelling at your family the most. The people you love the most, you feel like you have the most leeway to say how you really feel, right. And then you say like "fuck you," you fight or flight. their reactionary thing. But how did you were talking earlier about yoga? I know we're all over the place, but like, how do you get dialed in? So how did you go from yelling at people on Thanksgiving to fixing that?
Yeah. So, finding a spiritual practice, I think, is a really good thing to do. If that's meditation or yoga, or whatever. Like for me, actually, I do the cheesiest thing in the world, and I don't even care. Like, it helps me to stay at the cause of my day every single day. In the morning, I'm just lay in bed. I lay there and I think about the power of memory is incredibly powerful. When we think about something, when we draw up a memory, we feel that same feeling that we felt in that moment where we created the memory. So I think about someone that I love very much, whether they're with us or not, or maybe one of your cats, and I just radiate that feeling as hard as I can, just beam it like a Care Bear stare, like straight up out of the cartoon, you know what I mean? And just because where attention goes, energy flows. So if I can create and cultivate a feeling like that in my body and then continue to pay attention to it, then I can continue to just make it grow, and then I can start from there instead of earlier even a few months ago or last year, when all this went down, I would hop up and just get on Twitter and watch Kyle Rittenhouse get his arm, like shoot somebody. It's like, that is not the way to start your day. I don't recommend.
I had to stop doing that too real quick. You get in that's a loose trap. That's a bad vibration thing. You wake up looking at a snuff film. Every morning there's a new snuff film. And no, I'm serious. And not with Kyle. I'm saying there's always a new car accident snuff film. If you follow
Right.
Breaking 911 on Twitter, if you follow these sites, literally there's always going to be somebody that 4-year-old murdered by a thing. So maybe you don't see the murder, but they show, oh, this is him sneaking in. Like there's a video on the top of Daily Mail. This is him sneaking in the house, and you're watching this video. I'm like, it's like 6 a.m. and I'm watching a video of a guy abduct a child. Like, how is that? That's not good.
Right.
But I mean, you do it because it's that dopamine or cortisol hit. I don't know. I
Yeah.
gotta stop doing that. I gotta really.
Well, just make it, I don't think it has to take that long. I don't think it has to take like a ton of your day. There's like that one JP sketch where he's like, I've been so busy being spiritual, I don't have time to meditate. It's like,
Yeah.
don't do that to yourself, like just wake up and do a certain thing. One of my friends, Daniel James, I was on his podcast. He's awesome. Prime Life Project. If you guys get a chance, go check him out. He's amazing. He's a fat loss coach. And what he does a lot of is mental stuff. And he talks a lot about gratitude. And so like a lot of times when we sit down and we write something, that it's gratitude journal, that's a very popular thing. You write down 3 things that you're grateful for in the morning, 3 things that you're grateful for in the evening. Well, a lot of people write something down. They're like, I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful for my house. But they don't feel the feeling. And the feeling is the secret. The feeling is the way that the universe communicates.
The actual gratitude. I mean, they say, oh, I'm grateful for my car because it gets me to work. Like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah,
So finding the real gratitude. How, like, give another example of actually finding real gratitude.
Yeah, I think it's in memory, right? Like anything that we can drum up, like and draw on as a memory to create that emotion again in our body is something that's a way that we can catalyze that feeling, and then we can live there for a little while. It doesn't have to last all day or anything, but it's just a great way to put yourself at the cause instead of at the effect. When I wake up and I, look at, snuff on Twitter, then it doesn't make me, excited to go and do the thing that I'm here to do today. And so that's them winning, bro. That is how we lose, by putting ourselves at a place where we are completely ineffective and we can't even do anything. We can't even get up out of bed. We're so so depressed and distraught and we're gonna blah blah blah.
Oh, and real quick, for anybody that's stuck in bed, the best thing to do is get out of bed, guys, because I've been in bed.
Take a shower.
Get out, take a shower, just go walk outside, go get some sunlight, because I've been there, and then I was like, man, I just can't get out of bed. Then you go get some sunlight immediately, and this is not a health thing, but get out of bed if you guys are stuck in bed. We've all been there. You don't need to beat yourself up, but you'll feel better if you get out.
Yeah, and find a great song that you love or something like that. I listen to music a lot. I listen to music all day usually when I'm
Dude,
working.
okay, real quick, I just found out Chris D'Elia doesn't listen to music, and I like Chris D'Elia. What I'm saying is I didn't realize there's human beings that don't listen to music. This is another podcast talking about that. Music is my energy source. I mean, it's like when I can't hardly work out with it. It's like music is a crutch for me because it gives me, it's a therapeutic, sensory, enjoying, pleasurable thing like food. Could you imagine a world not enjoying a song? That's insane.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I have a cousin who's like, I don't listen to music, and I was like, I'm pretty sure you're a robot, bro. Like you don't have a soul. I'm sorry, we haven't talked since.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not. If you guys don't listen to music, you don't have to be like some huge music head. But I mean, the fact that I don't know. I can tell my mood is less good when I'm not listening to some music. When I'm listening to a bunch of the Rothschilds and there's no and the towers were empty. And I mean, even though it's all true, but it's still you know. Sometimes I need to listen to a little Miley Cyrus Malibu. And I know that sounds crazy, guys, but if you guys need to listen, that's a song that's on like the top Billboard song right now, Bootsy. I thought that song was terrible. Now I can't stop listening to that.
Did you hear Throat Babies?
Who is it? By Miley Cyrus?
Is it by not by Miley Cyrus, but it's now a hit song. It's one of the worst things I've ever heard.
I got to hear Throat Babies. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, you got to hear. I wish we could play it. I would love to play it for you.
Why is it illegal? Would I get in trouble for Throat Babies? Or I mean,
I think probably that's a copyright strike waiting to happen. But
well, I want to show you this. Let me show you my real favorite song. People are gonna get pissed, and I know if Jaron is watching, he's probably not watching, but. I want to play one song. We won't play the whole song, but I want to show you the screen for the people at home. You guys know this is my. What does it say about me? Okay, Bootsy, this is my favorite song, so I want to hear what you have to say about this. Oh shoot.
My Murphy bed, sat down to scratch my head. What could this day bring? It could be anything. I get the phone call, I gotta help them all. Go girl will save the day, child will not get away. It didn't take me long to find the ticking bomb. He took off in my Jeep, that chow was such a creep. I gotta find a way to take down chow one day. He pulled a ninja move, it got me to be cool. You know what? Maybe I too could be ninja. I want to be ninja. I want to be ninja. I want to chop down, take chow down to Chinatown. I want to be ninja.
Okay, that's enough of that. I know people get pissed if I play that any longer, Bootsy. People get pissed. But
4 minutes and 29 seconds. I feel like that it should be like a 4-hour clip.
That's what I'm saying, never ending. And I'm gonna have Jennifer Murphy on the show. She is by one of she's one of their. She's just a funny comedian. And they actually made fun of that song on a different podcast, and now people make fun of me for playing it. But it's my favorite. I know John Minyard. He loves that song. So John Minyard, you're watching. I know. That was for you. Okay, so we got Harmon. We got one caller. We're gonna take Harmon's call. I'm sure he's gonna ask something crazy. So let's bring him on. Harmon, you've been on hold very patiently. Thank you. You're always so patient, Harmon. I'm so blessed to be your friend. You know?
Well, it's my honor to be on here with you. You know that.
Well, I know, but let me tell you something, Bootsy. Listen, this guy right here was Charles Manson's prison guard, and Charles Manson never felt a woman's breast, so Harmon would take off his shirt and cover his face, and Harmon would shave his chest, and then he would fondle his breast, and Harmon would make woman noises for Charles Manson. That didn't happen, but he was Charles Manson's prison guard from 89 to 91.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, Harmon, I got the mind of a maniac. I got the freaking brain. I'm Alpha Brain Force. Alex Jones, Alpha Brain Force. I don't take this stuff, but I don't need it. Okay,
well,
what do you got
for us? Remember the truth.
There you go. It is easy to. Well, I mean, you know, I'm not saying you didn't lie, but I mean, that's your truth. I mean, because it's true, it didn't help me memorize it. Help me memorize it because Harmon, I love you.
Yeah, but lies you always mess up on.
That is true. I believe once you start lying, it's a slippery slope. You can't ever keep a lie. That's why I never lie with girls. Guys, that's another secret. The Alexine Castle. George Costanza did an episode of Seinfeld where you're just brutally honest with women. And I'm not saying you should be totally brutally honest, but if you err on the side of being more brutally honest than lying, dude, I've gone way up with chicks. Just. And I'm not saying that I'm smashing all these chicks. I'm not. I wish. I'm just saying the last few girls I've gone on dates with when I was just honest, not that I lied, but just open, not trying to be cooler who I was. I've been turning them down. I've blocked the last 3 girls. I can't believe I feel so cool. I've been blocking these girls because they've been bugging me, so I have to block them because they fall in love with me. It's not about me. Harmon, what do you got? What are you talking about?
Just while you're reading, while you were guys talking, I try to read some stuff on this guy. I never heard of him before. You like well, tell me what you feel about the ether. What you think the ether is?
It's infinity.
It's okay. That's not an answer.
I mean,
what do you mean that's not an answer? What?
What
I
do you
told
think
you,
is it,
Harmon.
Harmon?
I knew Harmon is going to be a shit starter already.
Tell me what you're looking for.
Well, what do you think the ether is? Do you think it's infinity? I mean, okay, it's forever. I didn't ask how long it goes. What is it, do you think?
I mean, that's God. It's the mind of God. It's infinity. It's everything that ever existed, will exist, or has existed ever. That's what the ether is, in my opinion. So that's the same as the dream world, synonymous with the mind of God.
And if I said what I think the ether is, I think the ether is kind of what holds the earth in place. I mean, it's the thing that we don't see. It's like that, what the megahertz travel on, what the sound waves. I mean, it's the thing that's all around us that we don't see. What is the ether to you, Harmon?
Or the field?
No, I was going to say, what you're saying, all this air around us is the ether, right?
Basically, yes. That's what I think.
I'm asking, what's that?
I mean, I think that certainly qualifies as part of it. Sure.
Well, when they did away with the ether, when Einstein did away with the ether and demolished it, saying it's not real. Well, we know that the ether is what we. Okay, I compare it to water. I don't think it's much different than water.
Okay.
You say it carries all this. I think all the water carries all kinds of memories and stuff like that. It's just a less dense water is the ether. For example, a whale can. They know they've communicated 100 miles away, 200 miles away, all right? Or a shark, they say you drop some blood in the water. This part I believe is fake. And a shark 5 miles away can smell it. Well, I don't think they can smell it, and I think they're just lying to that part. I think the sharks that are nearby somehow communicate through the water, through the ether, to the other sharks, through vibrations.
Sure.
Okay, and I say the ether is the same as that. This is all the ether, the air they've taken, and that's what surrounds us and circles us and contains us.
So, like the field, like some people would call it the field, like that's what Joe Dispenza would call it, for instance, right?
But it was always called the ether before about 1913.
Okay.
Until they abolished it. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, they abolished it in 1913 to take the theory of relativity its place.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
No, everybody talked about the ether. They actually spelled it the ancient way, A-E-T-H-E-A-R.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Harmon, I can tell that you never worked in customer service. Being a prison guard, your customer service skills are just the worst. I mean,
well, yeah,
I've never heard. I love you, Harmon. I love it. I go, what's the ether? And he goes, oh, I think the ether is this. He goes, that's not the ether. I know you asked me a question.
That's not an answer, I said.
Well, that's the same thing. I mean, that's not an answer to the question. That's not an answer. I'm
just curious what you're looking for. All models have different terms. We're doing the best that we can here, painting with mashed potatoes, trying to figure out what reality is. You can't tell me, no one can, what reality is, because we can't directly know it. We have to have a model. We have to have a map. So ultimately, we need to understand some vocabulary words, because the map is not the territory. The menu is not the meal, right?
Right. This is what I get on the word reality. It's one of my pet peeve words. When you add ITY to real, it's not real anymore. It's just a reality of man's construct.
Well, is reality real? Is reality real? Because reality TV is fake.
Real thing we could get. No, real would be nature. And anything man makes out of nature is a reality because we've created.
Well, a dildo is made from plastic. Is that real?
That's a reality. That's a reality.
Even if you can jam it up a girl's cooter stank, that's fake.
No, I'm being honest with Bootsy. He's not taking me. I don't think you're taking me as being anti. Are you?
No. I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from so that we can understand what we're. What our vocabulary.
I don't even know where you're coming from. I agree
with him. I like someone who talks about the ether and what it comes from, and I think that's how we communicate through the ether. Yeah. Just the same as I was trying to say, the same as the animals in the water can communicate long distances. If we can tune in and get our thing going through your meditation and stuff, you're saying that's how we communicate through the ether.
Dude, Robert Anton Wilson and Timothy Leary have tried a bunch of experiments and stuff. Have you ever read any of Robert Anton Wilson's work?
I have never read a book in my life.
Okay, right on.
Wow, Harmon, shut the front door. I'm about to kick you off this thing. You got to go read a book. You need to stop, turn off this show.
Why?
They need to go read a book.
Learn through life experiences. Why do you need somebody else's stuff?
A book, Harmon? Are you gonna, Harmon? Listen, you're going too deep in the conspiracy world. You're saying a book is not good. A book is reading a book is one of the best things somebody can do.
I just don't read books. I read articles. I read stuff
Well, you
like
watch
that.
my show, so I know.
Read
I actually don't pick up a book. Just continue to watch my show and don't watch any other shows. I'm the only show you should watch. Obviously, that's the show.
No, I'm saying
Okay, what else? What else you have to go before you go?
I say that the ether is a very important subject. I thought, I really like it, and I like how you did. Okay, I'm meditating. Tell me how. I want trying to learn. Just how long would you meditate?
I'll tell you how to meditate. I can answer this, even though I want to hear Bootsy's answers more, but I want to tell you first. I want to give my answer, and Bootsy's is better, more professional. The first thing you need to do is you need to go get yourself and go to the YMCA. You need to take one of those senior yoga classes, because the only time I know this sounds crazy. Sounds crazy. You don't need to do a hot flow yoga. You need to do a slow flow yoga where you build up a little thing, because once you get into shavasana at the end, once you're actually tired, I don't believe different people meditate differently. For me, I need to burn a little energy, and before I can really tap into myself, I kind of need to kind of be a little tired, not like sleepy tired, but I need to be in a state of rest. So you need to honestly, if you really want to consider meditation, you need to consider a yoga class. Sorry, Bootsy, I didn't mean to take your answer. What do you recommend? Because this guy needs to meditate. You need to meditate, Harmon. You would love it. It would help you out.
No, I mean,
It helps everybody out.
I think there's a lot of different ways to do it. You can light a candle and watch it, but the idea is to really, it's just an attention exercise. It's just a way to control your attention, to be aware of your awareness. That's really what meditation is ultimately about. So I don't necessarily recommend any specific length of time. Some people meditate in short increments, but the ultimate idea and the ultimate reason why we do any spiritual practice is to make it to where we are operating from a place where we're more at the cause and as an observer of our reality than at the effect of it. So I used to smoke weed, and then I would meditate for 20 minutes, and I would be mindful for 20 minutes, and then I would go and smoke weed or whatever, right? And do this, that, or the other, and my brain would be just like blah, blah, blah. And really, ultimately, what is the point of meditating or being mindful for 5 minutes? The idea is to cultivate that as a practice throughout your life. So it's really about awareness, and that is one way that you can help to train your mind and its attention to stay focused, without being distracted about this thing or that thing over there. So it's really about just developing control over your mind and just focusing on it. So I like to just, the meditation that I do in the morning, where I focus on my heart and how it feels and think about a memory, that's a meditation. You can also sit and watch a spot on the wall. And Hermetics, they talk a lot about how any point in the universe, you could be really any point. So you focus on a point, and that's kind of the idea of that, is I could be there, I could be there, I could be anything here, but you could also just sit and just be quiet and remain calm, listen to whatever kind of bubbles up. The other idea of meditation is that we're like a lake or a river, and if there's a bunch of splashing and waves going on, then it's really hard to hear what's going on at the deeper part, right? To still the noise. And that's another reason why people meditate. And so whatever works for you, however you can control your attention and however you can really connect and hear your inner voice, your intuition, I recommend that as a practice. And there's many, 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 many to choose from. So
the other one, real quick thing,
let me say this, Harmon, and it's the idea of actually not being able to not think about anything. I know it's hard because you're always thinking about something, but when you're actually meditating, you're you're literally not thinking about anything. It's actually really nice when you're in that state. Okay, what were you gonna say, Harmon?
I was gonna say, you were saying, you were in the basement and you're uncovering all these conspiracies, and you got in the dark and low vibration. You felt they were. Well, is it like the Matrix? You wake up and you find out it's not all gravy like you want it to be. So you try to lose yourself in your own world and forget about the reality or the real world.
It can happen that way. It can happen that way. It's really, I think that's for each individual, right? Everybody's going to have a different.
You said you lost yourself in the basement. You had to get out of there. Of course, I understand. I've never
had to. Yeah.
But a lot of these conspiracy things, I don't like calling conspiracy theorists and stuff like that.
Right.
It's just you're discovering the truth and what they've been
like. Couldn't agree more. That's what fucked me up. That's what wrecked my paradigm. That's what made me completely question everything about my reality or what's real. And
Yeah, I like that.
again, to really build another model, I had to build it completely from scratch. And I think most of us do, right? Like, you go through that dark night of the soul. And so, I harp on that. And I remember that time in my life. So one of my friends I was talking to the other night, he was like, I want it again. He fucking loved that shit. But, not everybody does. For me, like, smashing a paradigm and going to another worldview, there's all the 5 stages of grief that go in with that. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay. Then the very last thing.
Well, we got another guest. What is it? Hurry up. What is the
one
last thing?
Is I forgot because you interrupted me, but it's okay. It's your show, and thank you so much, and thank you, Bootsy, and your guys are awesome. Thank you, Alex, for letting me be on.
Thank you, Harmon.
Thank you, Harmon. It's nice to meet you.
Well, you'll see him again. He's gonna go on your website. He's gonna go and bug you. You'll see him. He's gonna get your ass. I love Harmon. Harmon is a tough son of a bitch. When you have that prison guard mentality, it's kind of hard not to be hard. Fundy, welcome to the show. What question do you have for Bootsy Greenwood?
Hey, man. Hey, Bootsy. Can you guess my name?
Hey, Dylan. What's up, buddy?
100%, man. You nailed it.
Dylan,
Hey.
dude, why didn't you use a fake voice? I guess you wanted him to notice it. Is that why? You should have been like, hey, it's me, Fundy.
Hey, Bootsy. Can you guess who it is? It's your biggest admirer.
Hey.
See, I like that. We like that. We like a little bit of espionage. We're trying to expose the CIA. You can be more CIA. So what do you got for us? You got a question for me? Since you're already a Bootsy fan, you've already asked him questions. What do you got for me?
Listen, man, I'm a fan of both of you, and it's really more of a comment that I want to share. This is the collaboration of a lifetime for me. I'm very pleased to see you two connecting. It's really a gift to my life, and I've enjoyed the directions both of you have taken each other in this conversation. It's really something unique, something I've never seen before. Your perspective, Bootsy's perspective, coming together, fusing, it's great. I won't take up any more of your time unless you got, if you want to just keep me on.
You said your name's Dylan. Is that correct, Dylan?
Oh, yeah, Bootsy called me out. Yeah, I'm Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan. Okay, let me tell you something, Dylan. Yeah, when you come on here and say something nice like that, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate that, and I really mean that. And I'm not here to kiss your ass. I'm about to kick you off the show, but it's like, listen, we're talking about gratitude, man, and you just saying something nice. It makes me feel. I'm sure it makes Bootsy feel good. I know it makes him feel good. So I just want to tell you, man, I really, from the bottom of my heart, just you coming on, having the cojones, just to say that nice comment, dude, not exaggerating. Made my night.
I'm happy you appreciate my gratitude so much, and I appreciate your appreciation. And if I could add a little saltiness to this discussion while I'm here, I thought that Bootsy's answer about the ether was pretty spot on. It's hard to get into any specifics about the ether. But calling it that which is at the fundamental level that, pervades and exists within all things, sort of like the God exists within all things, exists within you, sort of an omnipresent sort of entity or substance. That's kind of how I feel. The
omnipresent substance is, I think that it's everywhere. Yeah, that's a real good description.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know what that Harmon. I don't know who he is, but I don't know what he was fishing for. It seemed like there was an answer.
I don't know what I think Harmon was just he just likes to stir the pot. I don't know what he was fishing. I love Harmon, but he comes on here and likes to be.
That's cool.
I don't know what his answer was. Yeah, I guess he went a little friction, but I've never heard that. He said an answer. He goes, "That's not an answer." Like that's. Harmon, come on. That was his answer. That's because you guys, and I mean this with respect, when you're dealing with the prison guard is always right. It's different. Like, you remember, this is something else I haven't heard anybody say the customer is right. The customer is always right. I haven't heard that saying in over 14 months. I don't think they'll ever say that saying. I don't know if any multinational corporation that's running the world would ever say the customer is always right. I don't know if that'll ever come in the vernacular nomenclature of talking ever again. But Dylan, dude, thank you for coming on, and I like your description of the ether as well. We're allowed to have, to each his own, and I vibe with your description anyway. But anything else before I kick you off?
Yeah. There's something that the comments section, the live YouTube comments, have just been dying for you guys to address. So I guess it's my responsibility to bring that up right now. Okay. This is at Bootsy. What the EF is up with that map on the back wall of your frame, your video feed right now. It is a Mercator projection, not the flat Earth map at all.
Well, they didn't have the flat Earth map at Walmart, so
Yeah, wait. Slow down. I've been looking at the chat. If people are complaining because he doesn't have an AE map on his thing, Bootsy, are you? See, I didn't even know. I'm a geocentrist flat earth or whatever. I didn't know. Are you one?
I don't.
Well?
I don't know. It doesn't. It's not something that it's not my work. So
I've been trying to explain that.
Not your mama. $14. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. No, Bootsy. Let me just tell you a little bit. I'm not saying you should be in flat earth. It's a very bad cross to bear. It's very tough. And you say the earth is, but listen, you say the earth is flat. You sound like a retarded idiot because like there's mountains, there's hills, the earth's not flat. But over large bodies of water, it appears to be flat. But that, don't even get me into that. I don't want to talk about the shape of the earth. But this is my only thing I want to say. This is my spiel. Everybody hears me say. You might have heard me say. The idea is that we're on a rock that's in perpetual spinning motion, 1,100 miles an hour. And on top of that, that rock is going 66,600 miles an hour orbiting the sun. And it has an orbit, so that means it's not a perfect circle. So there's times when the Earth in its orbit has to speed up and slow down 2 different times. So we're on a rock that's at spinning directions. And on top of that, the whole solar system is moving in concert through the Milky Way galaxy, 4.4 million miles an hour through an ever-expanding universe of space. And all that is happening while at the same time, every single night, Polaris, the North Star, is in the same spot. No matter what, that is in the same spot. So I don't know. The machinations of the universe as they describe it seems to me to be a fundamental lie, but I'm about to freaking kill the people in the chat. I don't care if you're a flat earther, globe earther, because complaining about the map you have on your wall, you people are sick. You people need to get a hold of yourself if you're mad about that.
Coming after me, I gotta say, I really just don't know the answer. I remember when the flat earth thing came out and I was like, holy shit, like I got really into it for, I don't know, a little while. And then I just kind of kept living my life because there's not a damn thing I can do about it. So, from my perspective, it's not something that is for me personally, like a big use of my time is worrying about that. I might like look up who was in the Bee Gees or, I don't know, like
it becomes time consuming. And I've spent so many hours looking into it. I can't hardly look at the shape of it. And
it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And listen, I've looked too much into it, so that's why I get a little passionate about it. And really, I don't care what you guys think the shape of the earth. I really don't care. I'm like you're saying, guys, I know I'm crazy. I'm I'm never going to deny my craziness. Some things I think I'm right about. Some things, I might not, say I'm so right or be so, confident. Mm-hmm. All I can say is this, is you guys got to make your own decisions. I don't want to make the decision for you with this. And that's why I don't want to push you into it. I like to say my spiel just to maybe help somebody that's maybe on the fence, but you make your own decision. But Fundy, man, thank you for coming on. I can't believe people are complaining in the chat about that. I'm really gonna.
It's probably not too serious.
I'm sure.
Obviously, it's a joke. It's a pure joke. But guys, and now I'm about to. My next background, I'm gonna not do the AE map, so all my flat Earth people will get so pissed. Now I know that I didn't realize that would irk them so much. Now the regular, because I like the regular map, the school map. I mean, I don't know find it necessarily accurate or whatever, but I mean that's just I like maps. I've always liked the atlas. I've always liked looking at something. That's probably why I'm into the shape of the earth. Okay, Fundy, anything else, bud?
Hey man, do you feel that in any domain of understanding that it's most important to establish as best as you can a solid foundation to build upon?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Does that sound cool?
Yeah, I mean, everything, the most important thing is the foundation. Like, that's why I think we're so screwed up, because we're on this foundational lie that we evolved from pond scum and that we're just, insignificant stardust and that our lives don't matter and that, So, yeah, I think that's really important.
So where I'm coming from is that debate's important. Another thing, I don't like absolute certainty being, claimed by anyone. I want you to share your thoughts. I want you to share your opinions. I want you to tell me where you're coming from. And I want to establish a solid ground of understanding between people, and I have conversation with Globers all the time. But what's most important is I want to establish a common understanding between me and them where we're coming from. And then we can work it out from there, because teamwork, in my opinion, is the most powerful force in nature there is. cooperation and teamwork, you know? And if we can establish that solid foundation of understanding, and then we can work together to establish common foundations of understanding, then we can build with each other, you know, through teamwork. And, you know, the flat earth proposal, I lean towards that way. It has a lot to offer. And it's something that really takes a lot. It just takes the rug underneath a lot of people's feet. And we got to humble ourselves from both sides and say, these are our vulnerabilities. These are the things that we can't explain, but these are our strengths. And you have some strengths too. But we got to come in the middle and deal with what's in front of us and work things out, you know?
Amen, brother. All right, Dylan. Well, that was great. Thank you for coming on. I'm going to wrap it up here with Bootsy. Thank you, Dylan.
Peace out, man. Thanks for having me on. I love you both, man. Nothing but gratitude and appreciation for all the content you both put out.
Well, dude, thank you for coming on. Peace. See ya.
Thanks, Dylan.
Peace.
Oh, yeah, man.
All right. Well, Bootsy, I mean, you know, I can't tell you how much, we're almost at an hour and a half. Obviously, you don't want to just wrap it up right now, but what do you want to leave people with? I mean, you know, it always takes a minute to get me off this show, but like, you know, we've talked about so much. You got to come back on because, you know, we went so freaking deep. We didn't even scratch the surface, I feel like, when it comes to reality and manifest. And I don't want to say that word, man.
No, you can say it.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I just want to be. I sound so woo woo, guys, and woo woo is just kind of, you know, we're saying all these. I learned that when I was in Colorado last year, and I'd heard that term, but I didn't realize everybody's like, "Oh, Alex, you're all woo woo now," because I don't eat meat. I am a little woo woo, but I don't know. I think it's really important that we have gratitude and we look into ourselves because we've only got one life to live, and it's very short. So, you know, all this stuff is important, this self-actualization, or trying to get to that point. I know we've never said you're going to reach self-actualization, but trying to get out of the basement. So, Bootsy, what do you got for these people?
Yeah, I'm with Dylan, man. I want to cooperate and I want to keep an open forum. You know, I heard some people or saw some I've glanced at the chat a couple of times, you know, talking about Robert Anton Wilson, Timothy Leary, these are change agents. And this is a great way to dismiss someone and all their work by throwing the baby out with the bathwater. When you have people who do a lot of work, you know, you don't have to accept all of that they have done. And also, a broken clock is right twice a day too. So just keep that in mind. Let's keep an open discussion going. What I do like a lot about Robert Anton Wilson is, you know, he was really into Korzybski, right? The map is not the territory. And he was really into the idea that belief systems and certainty, as Dylan was talking about, is something that we can't really claim. And he said consciousness levels would go through the roof if people could instead communicate, instead of communicating with like, Mozart is better than Beethoven, instead being like, hey, I like Mozart better than Beethoven. You know what I mean? It's really not that big of a difference, but now you're not being
difference.
It's just an opinion. It does not that big of a deal. So I want to say, keep an open mind, you know, like it's real easy for us to get pitted and split down the middle and divided on this side or that side, whether it's the flat earth or the globe. Maybe there's maybe it's a triangle, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe we're both wrong, you know, who knows? But
exactly.
You know, I don't, that's why I don't want to yell at somebody because I haven't seen it for myself. Now I've just looked at the evidence and that's what you nailed it. It's like, Mozart is better than Beethoven, instead of saying, I think Mozart is better than Beethoven. Those are two totally different statements that have two totally different energy forces that give out to the world. And it's like you said, what is it? Our attention. What did you say earlier about our attention? What's the saying?
Where attention goes, energy flows.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. When you're talking like that, like Mozart is better instead of I think, you're giving this energy and attention that is just going to come back to you tenfold. So how do we stop that? How do we you know, stop from using that negative attention like that?
It's just awareness, man. Just awareness, just incremental improvement every single day. Dude, you said like hundreds of pounds.
Not 100, almost 100, but yes.
Okay.
Yes, it changed my life. Yes.
Dude, that's amazing, right? Like, and how did you do that? You went to the gym every day, and if you missed a day or you messed up or whatever, that was all right. You just kept going a little bit. So in the game of really cultivating awareness and being aware of our awareness and consciousness and all that, it's just a matter of just every single day, you know, trying to get a little bit better, putting the one foot in front of the other, just a little bit at a time, Kaizen, love on people, love on each other. Let's build community. Let's work together. I love the Lego movie. That's like one of my favorite movies ever of all time.
Wait, slow down. I want to hear this. The Lego movie, they said the Batman Lego movie is one of the best movies ever and one of the best hero movies. Is that true?
I don't know about that.
One of the best superheroes, but they said supposedly the Lego Batman movie was. I'm just saying, maybe this is from a kid. I don't know where I heard that, but that movie was supposedly incredible. So you like the Lego movies? Those movies.
The very first one. The very first one was great, man. It had some really good lessons in it, like libertarian-ish sort of like lessons that were like,
well, the first time I saw Shrek, now they said if you watch Shrek from 20 years later, all the jokes are politically incorrect and racist. I remember the first time I saw Shrek, I thought it was really funny because there is some sort of kind of racy humor. But so what did you enjoy about Legos that you liked? That it was libertarian-ish or what? It was
it was libertarian-ish, like as far as like a lot of the sort of subtext. And I loved the main character. I've never really identified with a main character as much as I did the one in the Lego movie, because it was really ultimately like nothing that special about him, but he was supposed to be like the one or the special, right? But what made him special was his willingness to bring people together and to work as a team and to create a community and do something and believe that he actually could. Like there's one scene in the movie where his mind is so empty that like they're blown away by it, right? Like he just like visualizes these things. All these other master builders or like masons, right? A master builder are these like super talented people, and he wasn't one. He was just this regular guy, and he wound up being really the biggest catalyst for change, just this ordinary sort of average Lego. And because he brought everybody together and was like, come on guys, if we all just do this and this, then we'll be able to make this happen. He just like pulled out the instructions and knew how to work with a team. So building community and really just opening up. I mean, that's really what I loved about that movie. And there's a lot of great lessons in that movie.
Wow, guys, and there's a lot of truth in the movies, lies in the news. So, like, I people like want to like demonize Hollywood. Oh, I won't watch a movie made by Hollywood. Guys, you need to decode and decipher the programming in the movie. Every movie that you've ever seen your whole life has some sort of agenda. So it's like, don't let that ruin your life because you just got to kind of decipher the agenda. And like, there's stuff you can enjoy. Like Bootsy enjoyed that movie. God bless his soul. We got to find stuff. That's what I'm saying, and I love it, and I love that we got to be able to find something that makes us happy. Okay, guys, and we mentioned it earlier. Remember, if you guys want to go meet Bootsy in person, shake his hand, give him a hug, smell his beard. I don't care what you guys doing. I know some of y'all are weird out there. You probably want to do that. You're going to be able to catch him at Contact at the cabin with the Grimerica crew, and that is in February. Is that right?
Yeah, that's February 2022. I think it's the 10th through the 13th, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you guys need to consider going there. That's going to be buck wild. And you guys all want to go to BootsyGreenwood.com, and the link will be in the description. I still got to make the thumbnail, so I'll update all the titles, and I'll link your Twitter. And where can they find you, Bootsy? Where are the best places? Tell them the best places where they can find you.
Yeah, best place to find me, YouTube. That's really where I do most of my content as well. I like Instagram a lot. So, like, I put sketches on Instagram.
Lots of comedy sketches. Your Instagram is great. You have a lot of good. You guys will like it with a green screen. Good creative shit. We need to collaborate. When I'm in Georgia, we will do something. We will shoot something.
Dude, let me know. I'd love to.
Where are you? How far are you from Atlanta?
I'm not far. I'm like an hour from Atlanta.
Yeah. I need to come through to Atlanta. But I freaking haven't been on a flight in over a year because of the stupid mask. I need to just put on a mask and get on a plane and go do it. Because I'm as anti as it gets, but it's like, dude, am I not gonna go on a trip or meet you or meet somebody because I don't know. I'm letting them win. I feel like by letting
and that's another thing too. Is like I'm gonna try to travel as much as I can this summer. I'm gonna be at Pork Fest. I'll be there. I'm gonna travel as much as I can because I don't.
Cheap.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's super cheap, and I mean, I feel like it's probably not going to get easier to travel. So now's, I think, not a bad time. Now's a great time to do whatever it is that you want to do. But like for travel, I encourage people to travel. I want to meet as many people as I can in person, anyway, throughout the summer, and as time goes on. So I'll be at Pork Fest as well. I'm going to try to go to Red Pill too, but that's in like a couple of weeks. But yeah, I'll be there.
Tell me why Pork Fest is so good though. Is it going to be all bacon or is it just going to be all kinds of
There you go, dude. It's ribs, baby.
It's ribs. Okay, the Pork Fest is mainly ribs. I don't know. I haven't been. I didn't know. Well, because like the Wing Festival, there's wings. I mean, you kind of know pork can be a lot of things. I stopped eating meat. I mean, I'm not. I buy more meat for my damn cat, so I'm not anti. And I have toxoplasmosis, so I want to eat the meat like a cat, but I just choose not to because Man, I watched a video of this sentient pig. This pig, I'm saying this is a pig was a house pet. This pig was smarter than these damn dogs, than my dad's dogs. Okay, and I'm just saying we eat those, and I'm not anti-pork. Eat all the ribs you want, Bootsy. I'm a libertarian when it comes to that. I mean, eat all you want because I buy their calf, and I'm not gonna kill factory. I'm not gonna stop factory farming. But for me, my digestion. The main reason is when I stopped eating meat, I was getting a lot. The meat I was doing the keto. Have you ever done the keto, Bootsy?
I've tried it, and man, I ate so
Don't.
much.
Guys, do not. I'm not saying meat's unhealthy. Meat's healthy. I think meat is good in moderation. You shouldn't overeat it. But I was doing the keto where I was overeating meat. Bootsy, I was constipated all the time. Like, I would eat 12 slices of bacon in the morning, 12 slices of bacon at lunch, 12 slices of bacon at night. Like, literally eating like 3 pounds of bacon a day. Not every day, but you know what I mean? I did that. There was days where I ate a 3-pound thing of bacon thinking, oh, this is healthy. And then I couldn't go number 2 because my body, it takes forever to digest 3 pounds of solid bacon fat in my gut. So, each to their own. And, man, we've really dialed it in. I don't know if we can even sum up what we said, but I'm going to have you on again soon so we can even dive a little deeper because we just scratched the surface. But, Bootsy, man, thank you for coming on. Thank you for spreading your good vibrations. I want you guys all to go follow Bootsy on Instagram. I'll put the link in the description. I want you to follow and subscribe on the YouTube because we want to spread that good vibrational love. And what's the last thing they need to hear, Bootsy, before we say goodbye?
I don't know. Now I feel on the spot, Alex.
I know you don't like it. The last thing, it's hard. I mean, but is there anything else? We know where to find you, but what is Bootsy, what is the mission statement for the Bootsy Greenwood plan?
Let's go get them. No, you guys are all awesome. You all have a really powerful gift to give. So I want each and every one of you to think about what that might be. I want you to look inside yourself and understand that you are so powerful. It's like you were talking about earlier with the, where this like space dust, this useless space. Fuck that. That's not true. You're a unique expression of the ether. There we go. And you have you have a reason for being. So I want you to think about that, find whatever resources you need to start to put that into action. And get out there and get them. I'm coaching them up. You guys go get them. Go get them out there. You guys are awesome.
You can go get coaching from Bootsy. And man, that you nailed it. Because guys, you guys want to feel like your life's insignificant, and I felt like that. We've all have felt that self-doubt. But guys, just the sheer fact that your mom and dad had you, I mean, it's an impossibility that you're even here, breathing, watching this podcast. So if you really could understand that and have if you could have some perspective to how impossible it is that you're here, you would have more gratitude no matter how crappy your situation is. So thank you for your work, Bootsy. If you guys want private coaching, go to BootsyGreenwood.com. You're going to follow Bootsy on YouTube. You're going to follow his IG. I want to say I love each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for being here at the castle, guys. Peace and good night.